name's Linda Tallis. My Haida name is Gwaii, which means Mother of Highborn. I live in Skidegate, Gilda, and but my clan is from Una Ilnagai, Skidans, and it's Gahel Kigawai. So this walk is an old path, and it was at one time the people from Skidegate would come along this trail, and for monumental cedars, which we'll find in the old growth forest, we'll be walking through new growth forest, which has been logged at one point in the 50s. And the medicinal plants we find were our everyday use for coughs, colds, as we live in the rainforest. So a lot of our plants are for that reason. Mm-hmm. I learned from my mother, who she learned from her grandmother and her mother. And I also did a lot of research on the different plants. As soon as I found a plant that I didn't know what it was, I did the research for it. So this is a lady fern. So this is the third type of fern that you'll see on the trail. And this one here is, you can see it, this one here is better. You can see it grows from here, the fronds off of the stem, and it's diamond shaped. And being diamond shaped, we say diamonds are a lady's best friend. So this is the lady fern. So it's a good way of remembering what it is. And so we did eat the bulbs as well. So this is another one that you'll find along the trail. So this is not a very good example right now, but this is the cedar tree, our tree of life. It was used for everything. It's only been here for 5,000 years compared to hemlock, spruce, and alder that have been here for 10 to 11,000 years. So after the Ice Age. Okay, so the licorice root is found growing out of the moss on trees. They're also, a lot of them are on the alder and also on rocks. And my mother said the ones growing on the rocks have the most healing qualities to it because of the minerals in the rock. And so we would have gathered them for coughs, for colds, for any mouth sores, like if you had a gum boil, that was lots in the past. And toothaches, so you'd chew on it and it would dull, but it leaves kind of a film in your mouth and to kind of coat your mouth so that it can heal properly. It does grow, one more thing, it does grow twice a year. So it's growing now, so that's why they look so healthy right now. And they also grow at the beginning of spring, late summer, beginning of spring. And so that's now and then in February around there. So twice a year, so that we're able to gather it. Also, if you do take a piece of licorice, the root, and it dries, you hydrate it again in water, so you're still able to use it. So we would have gathered a lot of it for coughs and colds. So I'm just going to show you the bark of the trees because I talked of this one here is Sitka spruce, and you can actually took the trees from here and imported it to England. So it was used for the mosquito, and so it's lightweight, shatterproof, and even grained. On Haida Gwaii, they're so straight, and look at how far you can go up before you see some branches. But so this is one that that was used for the mosquito. There is a mosquito lake here, but that's not the reason it's called Mosquito Lake. So just to let you know. Yeah. So this here is it's called foam flower. And sugar scoops is another name for it. You can see it's going to seed here, and it looks like a sugar scoop, so that's why it has the name. But Haida didn't use it for anything. It's just an idea of one of the plants that you'll find in all rainforests. So this deer enclosure was built in 2017. But it doesn't look that much different than what's growing out here. And I think it's just because it's in such a, hemlock is the densest canopy of any of our trees, and it's just not that much sun in here. So it doesn't look that much different from out here, but we do have them in different areas in Gwaii, close to Gwaii. There's another one close to Windy Bay that they have built just to see the difference because of the deer. Deer was introduced in 1930, well, I mentioned it before, the late 1800s and then on into 1900. And so they have no predators. And so they're really taking off here on Haida, and so they're doing a lot of damage to our cedar, to all of our trees, to our plants, medicinal plants. So
Devil's club, especially.
Devils, they are able to eat the devil's club?
They eat it when it's young.
Oh, when it's young, first growing, yes. So they're doing a lot of damage here on Haida. And it was introduced for a food source because we still have elk, but our caribou was hunted out and it's no more. But so they figured we needed a food source. We did talk about this one is the blue huckleberry, but it's a better example of just the base where we used it for pegs and nails. But look at the size of it, and when it's cut down and dried, it's really strong. So it's a really strong wood. But this is the blue huckleberry. And right next to it here, again, is the red huckleberry. Just the two. I like to point out the two. Okay, good. But you see, there's the stink currant, there's the thimbleberry. They look quite a bit alike. This one here is smoother, where this one, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's more fuzzy, or like when you rub it, it kind of halting, whereas that one is just smooth. So that's the difference between the two. They look quite a bit alike. Yeah. Googities. This one's the googities. That's googities and gulgwin. False lily of the valley. And so the lilies, we would always use the root for medicinal purposes. But you see the size of this leaf, which is nice. We would have heated it, and it would have been used for wounds or for sores, for burns. And the root would have been used for sore eyes and anything to do with your eyes. So the root system would have been used. Also, when it first grows in the spring, it's really curled and then just opens up. And it was eaten as a fresh vegetable at that point. So false lily of the valley is dying right back now. Also, I found that I had one in my pocket to look it up, or for what other reason. Maybe it was lying on the floor of the forest, but I put it in my pocket, then I put it into water and it hydrated again. So we must have gathered a lot of it at that time to use for medicine, to heal burns, or I mean, you got open fire in our longhouses, so of course you could get burnt easily.
Better.
Yeah. This is dwarf dogwood. There. Cheekup. Cheekup. They are edible, and but they're dry tasting and have a really big seed, so I compare it to pomegranate. You can't eat it, but it just looks so pretty there. I don't want to. And dogs would have been.
This is the perfect area for them, I think.
Yeah, really. Oh, the biggest one had to go and fall. Beautiful. Red huckleberry. Look at the size of the toilet paper here. Mr. Sasquatch. Yeah. And the bracken, you do pick the root or gather the roots the beginning when they first start to grow and at the end. Otherwise it's carcinogenic.
Oh.
So we even knew that.
Wow.
So this is one of the ones that Donada. Yeah.
Donada.
Quite coarse, so we would have used it for polishing our probably the woodwork, different things. And also these were as tall before 10 to 11,000 years ago, when before the tree, these used to grow as tall as trees. And that was when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, they were as tall as trees.
Wow.
So now they're just small on the side of the road. On top, spiny underneath, spiny down here. Oh, something's eating it. Imagine, it can still eat. See the spines on there? And all the way down. So this is the one, Carol's bracelet would have been these joints in there. And this one here is our yew wood. It's just a tiny little one. Heat. Yeah, so this is yew wood. It's the only one that I know of growing on this trail. So what you see here is Wasco. It's one of the crests of the Skidegate Haida. And so the Wasco is half wolf and half killer whale. So you can see in the curl of the tail how the Wasco would tunnel from the furthest lake. There's 2 lakes, Spirit Lake. So it would tunnel to Skidegate Inlet and hunt whales. And so it had to be back in its lair before the raven called in the morning, because it would otherwise it would disappear, being a supernatural being. So brought back the whales in the curl of the tail, between the 2 fins, and also behind the ear. It's not shown here, but it would. And so besides hunting whales, it also loved children. So there was a mother with her 8 sons that lived at Gwaii, where the Heritage Center is now. And so her 7 brothers disappeared. The eldest came back to see what had happened. So he went to Mouse Woman to ask how he could find his brothers. So she told him to come to Spirit Lake Trail and to build a trap out of overturned cedar trees and put a log in the middle. And that was the trap. But because the Wasco loved children, he put 2 children there for bait. And when the Wasco came up to devour the children, the trap was set. And it's a story. Opened the belly of the Wasco, took out the bones of his brothers, and from the medicine he got from Mouse Woman, he restored them back to health. So that's the story.